Hello, hello. What's happening, everyone? Welcome back. It's Jay Scott. It is the Hook Rocks, the ultimate rock community podcast. Thanks again for tuning in. As always, we always appreciate when you stop on by. So please don't forget to write us a review when you're done. And don't forget that we are part of the Pantheon Podcast platform at pantheonpodcast.com. There's so many different music-related podcasts on there, including the official Metallica podcast, which is great, the Metallica Report. But check them out on all social media platforms at Pantheon Pods, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Threads. And you can do the same with the Hook Rocks and all those platforms. Just search up the Hook Rocks and visit our new website, thehookrocks.com, and go explore all the episodes we've done. We're approaching our 600th episode, which we should be hitting at some point at the end of April. And hopefully we'll have something special for that episode too as well. But that's a pretty exciting thing for us. Don't forget to set your app to automatic download, your podcast app, so you get the latest episodes right to your phone, so you can listen to the new ones and all the ones that came before it. We've had some awesome episodes to begin the year. I know I've mentioned Joe Satriani, George Lynch, Stephen Piercy, Jeff Pilson. We also had Corey Glover of Living Color. We've had some great new bands or emerging bands over the last 10 years, like Rival Sons, Tuck Smith, The Gems, Lucifer, Primal Moon, Chicago-based blues rock band, which is an awesome band too as well, and so many others. Paralandra, who has a new album coming out on April 5th, which is great. We had Cassandra Carson, the great singer from that band, and Georgia Thunderbolts just visited us, Matt Curtis from Blacktop Mojo, a whole slew of great bands. Rick Emmett from Triumph, how can I forget that? You got to check that out. And the Vinny Appice episode. There's a great story about John Lennon, lasagna, his mother, and a pan. So you got to check out that episode to hear that story. It's really, really cool. My next guest has been on the show before, and it's a pleasure to have him back. And he brings gifts, right? The gift of new music, which is absolutely incredible. I've had a chance to listen to his new album. The new album will be out in June. There's a new single coming out on August 5th, which I absolutely just freaking love. It's just awesome. It's called Gotta Let You Go. And we're going to play a snippet of that here in the episode. So you'll get a little tease, a little sneak preview, but pre-order that on all your streaming platforms right now. Pause the episode, go on your streaming platforms, pre-order it. So on April 5th, it goes right to your phone or right to your device. It's already there for you. When you wake up in the morning, you hit play as you're getting ready for work, as you're driving to work, and you get to hear Pete's Diary's new song, Gotta Let You Go. And the guest today is Mr. Pete Dankelson. What's happening, man? How are you?
Doing pretty good.
It's great to have you back. I mean, it feels like forever since you've been on. It's been almost a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got some news. You've got a new album coming out. The new album is called Keep On Rockin',
Yep.
which, as I mentioned, I've had the pleasure of listening to it, and it is a kick-ass rock and roll record.
Woohoo.
But it's good to see you. It's good to have you back, and we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, no, I'm super, super excited about this. It's been in the works for almost a year. Well, the first songwriting sessions were about a year ago. So it's pretty exciting that we're finally at the stage where it's getting ready to come out. Pretty pumped.
Yeah, no, it is an exciting time. I mean, I've had the chance to kind of see you perform. I was at the LA Gun Show here in the Chicagoland area a couple months back, and I always see at shows. I've seen you perform on stage with Orianthi and obviously Tracii Guns, who's become a really good friend of yours as well.
Yeah.
And also some other bands like Dirty Honey and Buckcherry. And am I forgetting anybody?
Those are kind of the heavy hitters that come to mind quickly.
Like, James Nichols?
Yeah, James Nichols. Yep, that was a ton of fun.
Tyler Bryant?
Yep, yeah.
So some good stuff, man.
Yeah, it's been quite a trip so far. It's been a lot of fun.
Absolutely. So this record, Keep On Rockin', out in June, and it's awesome. It's incredible. And like I said, I just can't get enough of it. Like I told you before, in the conversation leading up to the interview, what's great about this album is every time I listen to it, it gets better, which is really cool. And each song kind of takes on a life of their own. Yeah. You mentioned the sessions that started nearly a year ago.
Yep.
What was that like coming from your first EP into this?
Yeah.
Obviously, your producer is Keith Nelson, formerly of Buckcherry, the original guitar player of Buckcherry.
Yep.
You're going out to LA to record this album. And what was that like? What was that experience like going from the last EP into this?
Yeah. So right after the EP came out, it's like, okay, we want to do more. We're immediately hungry to start like writing more songs and getting more music out right away. Because doing like a 2 or even like a 3 hour show and having 5 originals, the covers get old pretty fast. So it's like, okay, we want to keep writing and get going on a record kind of as soon as possible. So it's like, well, what do we do for a full length? It's like, who do we find for a producer? Like, who do we work with for songwriting and all of that? Because we reached out to a really good friend of ours. He works at Gibson. His name is Mark Ignesi. And we're like, hey, Mark, do you have any ideas on, someone, that would be interested in maybe working with us? And he immediately hooked us up with Keith Nelson. So we got a songwriting, the first songwriting session scheduled in early April of last year. And then Mac and I went out to LA to Keith, to the studio where Keith was working at. And we wrote a song a day. So by the end of the 5-day week, we came back home with 5 songs all like written and demoed out and ready to go. And we rehearsed them with Ryan for a couple months. And then in July, Mac and I went back out to LA and we ended up doing 4 more songs with Keith. And it was the same thing, demoed out, and then, came back home and, rehearsed them and jammed them with Ryan and all of that. And that whole time too, we've been playing them live. So really kind of getting more of a feel for them and getting like a crowd reaction out of them, which has been a ton of fun to see. And then in October, in the fall in October, all of us went out to LA and did the first live tracking session. So pretty much the drums and bass were pretty much tracked that week. And then we had an extra day. So I started guitars, and then in November, Mac and I went back out to LA, and then we finished up all the guitar overdubs and vocals, and then it was good to go. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
What did you learn most about writing music with Keith? Because you look at the songs that he's written, not just with Buckcherry, but with other bands too as well.
Yes.
I don't know if anyone really knows, but Classless Act was co-writing a lot of their songs too as well. Yeah. What did you learn most about his approach and and how did it change your approach to songwriting?
Yeah, I mean, really, we're super inexperienced songwriters, right? So, I mean, it really was, I think he's called it like a rock and roll boot camp, So it was a lot of fun. It was just a great experience to kind of really work with somebody like that. I mean, who really obviously knows their stuff. So the first song that we did was the song Where There's Smoke, There's Fire. Literally the day before we flew, Mac and I flew out for the songwriting session. We were together, rehearsing in the garage, jamming and whatnot. And the main riff, To Where There's Smoke, There's Fire, was kind of getting thrown around a little bit just from jamming. And Mac's like, hey, record that. Let's take that into the songwriting session. That's a pretty cool riff. And I'm like, okay, so record it, bring it in. And it was the first thing that we worked on. And so we took the riff, and then Keith's like, hey, well, you could do like a kind of a bluesy thing here, kind of move this around. And, here's an idea for the pre-chorus and kind of, chorus idea. And okay, now for the solo, we're going to kind of change things a little bit to E flat, so it gives you a little bit of a different flavor. So, I mean, it was just a lot of fun to work with somebody like that. It's fun too to kind of hear the songs come to life as well. When we were kind of writing and demoing the song Better Not Touch, I really like how Keith kind of came up with the drum orchestration for that, because there's some like really cool fills in that where, it kind of comes out of the chorus with these hits, and then it kind of winds back up with the reintro, and then kind of the hits into like the verse again. So kind of seeing like how he'd orchestrate some really cool ideas with the drums and the guitars was pretty fun to hear and watch come to life.
Was it eye-opening for you to see I mean, obviously you guys have written music before, but like you said,
Yeah,
you're all pretty inexperienced at songwriting.
yeah.
But what was the most eye-opening thing to you about everything that encapsulates a song? You know, like what's the like the thing that you maybe didn't know or took for granted about like what's really important with writing a tune?
I think less is more is definitely something um, that I really walked away from. And I mean, being a big AC/DC fan and stuff, kind of letting the big chords ring out, you kind of forget, I guess, when you're kind of playing that, you're not really thinking about how much space that's actually taking up. Um, but when you're kind of hearing, when you're actually like writing and you're letting those chords kind of ring out to give space to the vocals and all that, you kind of understand, oh, less really is more, because then this is when the vocals will fill in this spot, or this is where, maybe some kind of drum fill that, carries things on could happen here, or, maybe a little lick or something like that. So, kind of leaving space for a little bit of, kind of something else to kind of fill it in a little bit. It's pretty fun. So that was definitely something that I kind of walked away with and thought that was pretty cool and to keep in mind.
For a guitar player, you're
Yep.
a really good guitar player, as we know. What was it like working with Keith? Did you learn anything? I mean, you mentioned like the less is more, but what about your playing? Did you learn anything different about the approach to playing guitar?
Um, it was, well, there wasn't really much time to kind of like, I mean, well, actually, we had a ton of fun because I mean, obviously Keith is a guitar player too. Tracking the guitars was a ton of fun. I mean, I literally showed up to when we started Guitar Overdubs, showed up to the studio and I'm walking back with Keith. He's like, all right, here's the game plan. I got, this high watt here, and this is going to be your kind of Malcolm side, with your Howa body that you brought. And then I have this Marshall JMP with that you're going to put your SG through. And he's like, it's going to be, the two guitar. He's like, it's going to be your Angus and Malcolm thing. He's like, it's going to be killer. So I mean, it was great. And it was a lot of fun too, when we're tracking the songs. And we started out with kind of the rhythm stuff, and then kind of the more SG Marshall was kind of like more of the lead kind of rhythms that you would hear, and just kind of like hearing how everything kind of built up, and what Keith would suggest to kind of help fill in some of the spaces a little bit before the vocals got added in. It was a ton of fun. Yeah, we or like some different suggestions for solo ideas. Like maybe I do a pass at something. And Keith would go, hey, what if you tried, check this out. If you go here and here, you can kind of build up to this section here. And then like the rhythm guitar too. It's like, if you let this thing ring, then the other guitar would have this part going on and it would mesh, in kind of this certain way. So, I mean, it was really cool kind of in that aspect of, trying, these different ideas, how they would impact, the overall, maybe not structure of the song, but kind of this, the kind of amount of space something would take up. It was pretty cool.
I hear what you're saying about space, right?
Yeah.
I mean, letting notes breathe, different approaches, less is more.
Yep.
Learning all that and knowing all that and having Keith as kind of your, not only just your producer, but just kind of giving you a different take on playing or a different approach.
Yeah.
I noticed even in your live playing, there's differences than maybe a year ago, a year and a half ago. Do you feel that too as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's a ton of fun because, like, guitar solo wise, it was pretty fun because with the demos, it's they were all written in a day, so it wasn't like I had time to really structure a solo out. It was all just off the cuff. Here's the changes that you're playing over. Here's when they happen. Just go for it. And then, when we get the demos, I could listen to them and go, oh, I really like what I did there. Or I could go, that needs to change for the final recording. And that was actually a lot of fun because like, the solo for Keep On Rockin' was the exact same as the demo. When we got the demo, I'm like, that's the solo. I absolutely love what I did there. So I learned it note for note. And, but then like for the original demo on Where There's Smoke, There's Fire, I'm like, that's not quite, the solo should be. I could definitely do better on that. So a lot of it was pretty fun from like, you know, it was all improvised, but then I kind of learned what I did. And then, you know, for some songs, some of it was completely off the cuff and improvised. Like the last solo on the record, for Metals and Cigarettes, you know, kind of the longer, kind of Gary Moore kind of style solo. That was all off the cuff for that song, because it's kind of the ballad. You know, you couldn't really prepare for it. It was kind of like all just in the moment, just kind of let the emotions come out. And that would kind of be it, which was a little terrifying, because it's like you could kind of try and play along with it and jam it as many times as you want, but kind of you knew that you kind of had to go in and just kind of like wear your emotions on your sleeve and just kind of let it all out. You know, there really wasn't any way to technically prepare for it. You know, you kind of knew how you wanted it to start, and well, it fades out on the record, but I had an idea for how I wanted it to end, and then whatever else happens in the middle, you just kind of let it fly. So that's kind of how that happened. So it was a really fun experience of, you know, some of it, well, all of it was improvised, but then like, you know, the final recordings, some of them were learned, and then some of them were just kind of completely off the cuff. So it was a really fun blend of the two, and picking and choosing which songs I wanted to do that for.
You mentioned Metals and Cigarettes, which I think is an awesome closer to the album.
Yeah.
And you're right.
Emotional closer. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and you're right. I totally hear Gary Moore
100%
on that song. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, and well, I really wanted to do a good job with that song too, because it was about my great grandpa, who unfortunately passed away a few years ago. So I really wanted to kind of capture that, you know, just kind of, you know, the overall kind of emotional vibe of the song, and just kind of, you know, a loving tribute to him, and you know, how much he meant to me. So that was very important to get right, and I was pretty nervous to do that one, but yeah, I think it turned out really cool.
And who mixed the album?
Mike Frazier mixed the album. That was pretty wild. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got an interesting background, right?
Yeah. You know, he only mixed, you know, like the last 6 or, you know, 5 or 6 AC/DC records. I mean, I remember we were out in LA for the first songwriting session. He's like, you know, I could definitely probably get Mike Frazier to get behind this project, you know. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah. He's like, you know, I told him, you know, your story and how much you loved AC/DC, and he's like, he's like, Mike's definitely on board to do it. And I'm like, wow, that's really cool. So that was pretty cool and pretty special that he was involved in, you know, this project and process. Pretty cool that Keith got that hooked up.
Was there any point while you're doing this? I mean, when you think about your career, your emerging career,
yeah,
think about all the people that you've played with and gotten on stage, and now you're in LA recording with Keith Nelson, who is highly regarded producer and writer. Yep. You're working with Mike Frazier, who, you know, has worked with the gods of rock and roll.
Yeah.
Did this ever become overwhelming for you? Like, not in a sense of nerves, but just a sense of like, holy cow, this is incredible that I'm a part of this. And this is, you know, this is our music, my music that they're producing and mixing and writing. I mean, did you ever feel like, is this real?
You know, I never really had like a, oh my gosh, you know, is this real kind of moment. It was really just more of a, holy cow, this is really cool. Well, it's like, you know, in January when we were getting the mixes from Mike and everything, it was just like, wow, you know, this was worked on in the same place that, you know, Power Up was worked at, you know. You know, it was just kind of like that was pretty cool to think about. I'm like, wow, you know, Mike's worked with, you know, my all-time favorite guitar player and some of my biggest heroes, and, you know, done stuff for them. And now he's listening to what we're doing. So I'm just, yeah, it was definitely kind of a pinch me moment. I'm like, this is pretty cool. But it wasn't like a, you know, super kind of, I don't know, not quite overwhelming. It was more of a, this is pretty cool. Yeah.
What kind of guitars did you use on the record?
So for the record, I used 2 guitars for the whole record. The main, SG that I use pretty much at like every live show, the half pick guard and all that. That was the kind of main guitar for the whole record. And that went through it was like through a Marshall JMP. And then I had my little Marshall governor pedal that we throw on for the solos. So that was pretty much the main guitar. And then, I have it's a hollow body, an ES 339 that was used through a high watt amplifier. And that was kind of more of the kind of the rhythm sound, or, as we put it, the Malcolm sound. The SG and Marshall was the Angus side, on the right. And then the 339 and the high watt was more of the left side with the kind of the Malcolm rhythm sound.
Yeah, no, the whole album sonically sounds very cool. I'm a kind of a geek when it comes to sonic. Like,
yeah,
nothing is more frustrating when you hear a great song, but it doesn't sound right.
Yeah,
it sounds muffled. It sounds cluttered. And the song is good, but it's not properly mixed, or the sound is not leveled out properly. And
right.
When you hear this album, it is definitely not only the song's great, but definitely pleasing to the ears too as well.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love it. I mean, the guitar sound. I mean, everything just and Keith and Mike's hands. It sounds phenomenal. It's just like the drums. Brian's drums sound massive. I'm so stoked at how Mac's vocals sound on the record. I think it really is a great showcase for how great of a singer he is. Especially on, some of the, something like Keep On Rockin' that's kind of nasty. I haven't really heard him, sing something kind of like that before. It's just some of like the really cool kind of like the chorus ideas that he did and like Gotta Let You Go with kind of like the, I don't know, like the harmonies that he did on Gotta Let You Go I thought were really cool. And it was funny because at the end of Gotta Let You Go, he kind of does a little bit of the call and response thing before the song ends. And I didn't know he did that. I just thought he did like, gotta let you go, and I gotta let you go. But I didn't know he did kind of the call and response thing. And when I heard the mix, I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. So I sent him a text and I'm like, I didn't know you guys did that. He's like, yeah. Yeah.
Well, what was it like for them being a part of this? I mean,
they had a ton of fun. Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned the drums, the way they sound, and Mac's vocals, which I agree with you, sound incredible. He's really kind of come into his own with his singing.
Yeah.
But they were part of this ride with you.
Yep.
That had to be really cool for them as well.
Yeah, they had a ton of fun. I mean, it's kind of funny because Ryan was when we went out, Keith's like, you don't really need to bring Ryan along for the songwriting sessions because, with drums, they could kind of be orchestrated. So he kind of had he kind of mocked up the drums on like Pro Tools and stuff. And then, to at least kind of get the vibe of the demo going. And then, when we went back, we came back home, Ryan would rehearse the kind of drum ideas that Keith had. We play it like the demo, but then when we went into record, Ryan and Keith would kind of go back and forth about, trying some different stuff. Keith would be like, I know this is what it is on the demo, but like, just kind of like, let your personality shine through here. Electronic drums, not a real drummer. Right. So Keith's kind of like, okay, do this thing here, let your personality shine through on this part. And yeah, it was a ton of fun. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
And Tracii Guns appears on the album too as well.
Yes. That was cool. We were almost done, doing the guitars and everything. It was the last day. Keith's like thought about having a guest come in on the record, and like a dozen people like popped into my head. If possible, I'd love to have like a dozen people to jam with and work with. But I knew Tracii was in the area and pretty close by, so I'm like, let's see if Tracii would come in and jam on a solo. So, I mean, I literally just sent a text and he responded straight away. And he's like, yeah, I'd love to. And he lives like, not too far away at all. So, let Keith know. And, then Tracii came in put down a solo on the song All Hell Breaks Loose. It was pretty fun. I mean, it's pretty quick, just kind of doing a couple passes for the solo, but it was a lot of fun. It was great to see him again, and it's really cool to have him be a part of the record.
Because he's been a huge supporter of you, and
yes, yeah.
Every time you come to Chicago, you guys, they come to Chicago. He's having you guys open up for LA Guns.
Yeah,
he's a big advocate for you as well in your music and your playing. Yeah, he's a wonderful guy. I mean, for people that don't know Tracii, just an absolute true gentleman of a person.
Yeah, he's such a nice guy. I mean, it's funny. They came through like just a few weeks ago with KK's Priest. They played the Arcada Theater, and let Tracii know. I let Tracii know, like, we're planning on coming to the show. Looking forward to seeing you guys play. And he said, sound checks at 4:00. Bring your amp. I'm like, what? Okay. So showed up the next day, with the amp, and jammed on stage at the Arcada, rip and tear. It was a lot of fun, and that crowd was, I hadn't played for a crowd that size in quite a while, and that was a trip. And I mean, all the guys in that band are so nice, and just so cool. They've been nothing but awesome. Yeah, it's always great to sit in with those guys and hang out with them. Jam. It's a ton of fun.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, everybody that I've encountered in that band has always been awesome, really cool and friendly. I mean, I've had Ace on a few times. Obviously, I've had Tracii. I've had Phil on a couple times. I need to get Johnny on as well, because he hasn't been there. And then Sean Duncan, the drummer, is a nice guy too. I had a chance to shake hands with him backstage at the Vixen. Yeah.
No, I mean, you can tell there's no egos, no BS or anything going on with those guys. They're just having a good time, just playing some, really killer tunes.
It shows in their music, right? I mean, it does. There's a reason why their last 4 albums have been phenomenal. And I think it's because there's a level of comfort with each other.
Yeah, you could definitely hear it in the music as well. Yeah, you're right. Those last four records, or however many they've done since the kind of reunion, have been killer.
But speaking to Tracii, or speaking about Tracii, you guys have developed a friendship. What does that mean to you? Having someone like that in your corner.
I mean, it's pretty special. I mean, it's really cool. I mean, it's just great to have a mentor like that who's been around that scene. And it's really cool too, because we've talked quite a bit. You could tell that he really kind of appreciates what. It's hard to describe, especially the last conversation we had after the show at the Arcada. We were talking for quite a while, and it was really cool. I mean, just like from guitar player to guitar player, it was a really good conversation. He's like, when you play, like, you could tell. He's like, when he said to me, he's like, when you play that, you could tell that, like, you're definitely going, you're going for it, and you're playing for, like, kind of all the right reasons too. You're doing this for all the right reasons too, not ego or, kind of like money or all, kind of all of that. He's like, you could tell you're just having the time of your life, jamming and having fun and really kind of appreciating, what goes into to playing and, jamming with a band and all that. I mean, just, he said some really nice things. It was really cool to hear. But I mean, kind of likewise, you could tell that there's just like no kind of ego or BS. And like when he's inviting you to jam or hang out and all that. I mean, he's really just, he appreciates what you do as a guitar player. There's no kind of like hidden agenda or anything like that, or, oh, I have to jam with Pete. You can tell he's just like having a really good time, and, appreciates what you do as a musician. It's great. It's really cool.
Yeah. I get a chance to see jam with him at the Vixen on Rip and Tear. It was awesome. It was just, it melted faces in the crowd. It was great. And then, obviously you've been a part of his show, or LA Gun show at the Whiskey out in California.
That was cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's a historic place, to play there and to play there with LA Guns, who were a big part of that scene on the Sunset Strip back in the day. That's a holy cow moment.
Having kind of, when that happened, that's when Mac and I were out there for the first round of songwriting. It just kind of happened to line up with the release of Black Diamonds and the release show at the Whiskey. yeah, Traci's like, well, come, if you can, come on out. We'd love to have you jam with us at the Whiskey, rip and tear. And I'm like, okay. So, so, yeah. So, it was just so cool to jam with, a band like that, was in that scene, back then. And be on a stage like that where so many of, my heroes and idols have played on, and just kind of the history and significance of that venue, and to share, to be on that stage and play for, I'm positive it was a sold out crowd. It was just, yeah, that was definitely a pinch me moment where you're like, wow, I get to be on this stage, jamming with this band. And, I'm looking at kind of the same thing that, Hendrix or, would have seen back then. And, I think like AC/DC played the Whiskey, or, all of these bands, Van Halen, like all of these bands had been on that stage and kind of had this view, and you're kind of getting to kind of take that in. Well, jamming with LA Guns, and you're just going, pardon my Country, just going, holy shit, this is pretty cool.
Yeah. Zeppelin, I think, played their first American show at the Whiskey.
Wow. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I'm sure they played there. That would be pretty cool. Yeah.
Another thing that just happened, you guys were at the Gibson Garage and you jammed with Tyler Baker of Goodbye Dream.
Yes. Yeah, that was awesome. That was a ton of fun. It was great to meet Tyler, and really kind of get to know him and talk with him for a while. Such a nice guy. And their new record, I got to hear it when we were coming home yesterday. I got to listen to their new record coming out, and I'm just like, wow, this is amazing. It was really, really good. Yeah.
No, I've heard it too. It is an amazing record.
Yeah.
I saw the social media post of you and him jamming at the Gibson Garage, and
yeah,
that was like so cool, because I know Tyler pretty well, and
yep.
He's an awesome guy, and I obviously I know you, and seeing both of you up there, I was like, man, this is freaking awesome.
Yeah, no, that was so much fun. It was great to hang out with him and kind of talk and jam with him for a while. It was a lot of fun.
As you prepare for this new single and a new album coming out, what are you looking forward to the most in 2024?
Well, yeah, definitely looking most forward to getting the album out there. You're kind of hoping too that, you really hope that people dig what you're doing. And, well, I definitely hope that, for 2024, I really hope that, we're able to play more shows and kind of, maybe hopefully, travel to some new places as well. That would be a ton of fun, because like we're doing a trip to New York. We're going to be playing the Triad Theater when the record comes out on June 14th. And then we're playing June 15th as well. So that's the Triad Theater in New York. So that's going to be really cool. That's going to be our first time really kind of doing like a mini tour, kind of traveling that far for a show. It'll be a good experience of just what is this lifestyle like? What kind of goes into touring and, traveling to different places. So I'm looking forward to that experience. And, being in New York for the first time as well. That'll be a lot of fun. So I definitely want to try and play more places with the band and, hopefully play bigger shows. But definitely having the record out, you hope that people really connect with it and, be motivated to come out and see you live as well. I guess really just hope the record is something that really kind of sticks out to people. And, I guess in the case of this record, gets their foot tapping or makes them want to headbang and have a good time.
We talked about, obviously, the EP that came before this briefly. Now we have the new album out. When you listen to the new album and then you go back to listen to the EP, everything is a timestamp, right? This is
100. Oh, yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Like that was where you guys were at that moment in time. And now you're at a different period.
Yep.
What's it like for you as an artist, as a guitar player, to hear that evolution of you guys from just a few years ago and how much your playing is better, your band is better, the songwriting's better? It's got to be like, wow, like,
yeah,
this sounds like two different bands.
Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it? Yeah, it is kind of funny. With the EP, it really was just kind of like our first crack at going, okay, we all kind of did it ourselves. So, the EP was kind of like, we want to get something out there. So, it was written, I mean, it was really our first kind of attempt and kind of pretty much self-done songwriting. So, I mean, to me, that's what I kind of looked at then, three musicians that are kind of inexperienced songwriters and just having fun jamming. And then it's kind of like, this is a little bit more professional and a bit more well orchestrated and put together. Yeah, it's kind of funny listening to them both and hearing that difference.
Your love for AC/DC shines through in a lot of things that you do, and you had a chance to see them live in 2023.
I did, yeah. That was pretty special. No, I saw them the Power Trip Festival. I saw them on my birthday of all days, which was, I mean, so cool because it was. I mean, the thing is, me and Dad is like, okay, whenever they're coming back and wherever they're doing a show, we're gonna be there. Like, we got to go and see them. And then when the Power Trip Festival got announced and we saw that they were playing on October 7th, me and Dad are like, oh my, this is too good to be true. We're going. Yeah, we got tickets for the festival and went and oh my God. I mean, that was a religious experience. I mean, the set list, it was insane. I mean, seeing them open up with If You Want Blood, incredible. And I mean, just the whole show, you could tell that the band was just having a ton of fun, just being back on stage, being together. You could tell that the audience was so excited to have them back. Everyone was just soaking it in and having the absolute time of their life. When they played Riff Raff, that's probably my all-time favorite song. I couldn't believe it. I mean, me and Dad were just like, holy smokes. I mean, it was insane. And finally getting to see Angus live for the first time was so special. It's I don't know. I don't know how anything else I ever see is going to top that feeling of hearing, something like Riff Raff live and then watching Angus do his Let There Be Rock solo. I mean, I'm like, I mean, everything was so loud. I'm just like, that's him, I mean, it was pretty surreal the whole time through. And the live debuts too of Demon Fire and Shot in the Dark from the latest record. I'm like, I got to hear those songs played live for the first time. And I'm just like, this is so cool. It was, the whole show was incredible.
I know what it's like to have that emotional experience to a live show. I mean, we all like to be rock fans and rock and rollers and, the tough guy, exterior.
Yeah.
But I remember when I saw Kiss reunite with all four original members with the makeup.
Yeah.
And I was a huge Kiss fan growing up. I mean, that was pretty emotional for me being, at the Rosemont Horizon in Chicago, seeing it's now the Allstate Arena, but I still call it the Rosemont Horizon because that's the original. But and then seeing, obviously it wasn't a Zeppelin reunion, but seeing Page and Plant in the mid 90s.
Oh man.
On that tour was pretty like surreal too as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what that's like when you've never seen a band. I mean, I saw Kiss prior to that, right? On the Revenge tour and on the Hot in the Shade tour. I mean, I probably saw them about 5 or 6 times prior to that. I mean, the first time I saw them, I think it was on the Animalize or Crazy Nights tour. I can't remember.
Okay. Yeah.
But seeing them with Ace and Peter with the makeup, it was I can't believe I'm seeing this. This is incredible. And I got a little choked up because how much money have I spent on this band? How many posters have been hanging on my wall, and the time I've spent, not just money, but listening to them, the amount of time. And then same thing with Zeppelin. And obviously it wasn't a Led Zeppelin reunion, and we're probably never going to have that. But you got like the closest thing to it, with Jimmy Page and Robert Plant, which was just, and that band back then, it had Michael Lee on drums, who used to be with the Cult.
Okay.
You had Francis Dunnery on the other guitar, which was a great English guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the bassist was Charlie Jones, who ended up being Plant's son-in-law after that tour. But it was just, I totally get. And I saw the footage of you at the AC/DC concert, getting emotional. I mean, that's...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I understand it. I totally get it. I've been there.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was, the opener was If You Want Blood, and then immediately into Back in Black. And I'm just like, wow, like that riff, I was just really transported back to trying to figure that riff out. I learned the walk down, and I'm just like, there it is, being played right in front of me. Actually, that was pretty. I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty much the whole concert. Like, I'm like every single riff. I'm like, I remember trying to learn this, and yeah. So I mean, the whole show was just like, wow. I'm like, this is um, I don't know. It's like this is as deep. I don't know, as deep as the roots go, right? So it's like, it's like I'm seeing every stage of myself as a player, in this show and kind of looking back at these moments and just kind of like, wow. What was really cool was when we were out at Power Trip, literally we went straight from the festival after it was over to the studio. And Mac and Ryan flew down and we met up with them at the studio to start, tracking. So, and one of the first songs we did was Live It Up. And that's the song on the record that has the total AC/DC, that's the total unapologetic tip of the hat to AC/DC and the opener of the record as well. So I mean, especially in the guitar solo, I guess, point being is I was definitely still on a pretty big Angus to see an AC/DC high when we recorded that track. So I think you could definitely hear that. And literally in the guitar solo as well, I intentionally snuck in a lick from Thunderstruck, just as just a total kind of unapologetic tip of the hat to those guys. So yeah.
Music becomes part of our souls, especially when you are a fan, or not just a fan, but it's a part of your life.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine my life without music. And
oh yeah,
it heals, it gives you perspective. I just had a great conversation with Corey Glover from Living Color about that same exact thing, about what music does for people. And yeah, I just, when I saw you with those reactions and the footage of you being in the crowd,
yeah,
I totally get it. I've been there. And when music means as much as it does to you, as much as it does to me, you have those moments like, man, I can't believe I'm hearing this tune. I can't believe I'm hearing this song. And I can't believe I'm seeing Ace Frehley, do his guitar solo with the guitar, flying into the rafters and stuff like that. It's just, those moments are just irreplaceable in the memory bank, and just, make you feel like this is what it's all about. This is why I love music.
100%. Yeah.
If you had to define the band and to define this album, how would you, with the first single coming up?
I'd say groovy, which is kind of an interesting word, because I mean, there's definitely some like headbangers, and I guess the last song's kind of the exception, but it's still, it's still got a little bit of a groove you can kind of tap your foot to. But I really do think, every song kind of has, you can either kind of tap your foot or headbang to. So to me, that's always kind of something and it was great too, because working with Keith, we pull from the exact same thing. We're both influenced by pretty much the exact same stuff, right? So, I mean, again, when we were coming, when Live It Up was coming together, Keith's like, oh my God, this is so AC/DC. I love it, and we were both on the same page, just like, orchestrating the guitars and all that, kind of doing this thing here and all of that. So, I mean, it was a lot of fun. But yeah, I'd say groovy is definitely something I keep in mind. It's like you can tap your foot to all this stuff, but to be really kind of like the heavier stuff is headbanging, but it's kind of more of an aggressive toe tapper,
And then you've got the cover of Godzilla.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah. It was when we were live tracking. Godzilla, we started playing, well over a year ago when we were trying to build up a set list for longer shows. And Max suggested, he's like, would you want to do Blue Oyster Cult's Godzilla? He's like, hey, that would be really cool. And I'm like, sure. So we started playing it, and it kind of took on a life of its own, because we don't play it exactly like the studio record. It kind of took on this really interesting kind of life of its own, where I kind of, put my own licks into it, and everybody kind of put in their own vibe to it. I don't know. It was like, it's that one song in the set when we get to, it's just like, this has its own thing going on to it. Like, it's a cover, but yeah, it's kind of like, a little, I don't know, it had something special to it, or, it's one of our favorites to play. So it was kind of like, hey, Keith, would it be cool if we did our own cover of Godzilla? He's like, sure. So it was kind of a last minute idea. And I think it turned out really cool because it's interesting. I don't know, with covers, it's interesting because it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't type situation. It's like, people I know will be listening and going, they're expecting kind of maybe something similar to Blue Oyster Cult, and it's still the song, but yet there's like little differences with the licks and a little bit with the structure and just some like fun other little things in there. So it's still the song that you know and love, but it's kind of our own spin on it. And I think it turned out really cool. And at the live shows, people always love it. Like literally at pretty much every show, somebody goes, "You guys play Godzilla?" Like nobody plays that. And, it sounds killer. And I'm like, so it totally took on a life of its own. And I think it turned out really cool. I really hope that people dig it because I think it's a pretty cool cover. Yeah. And Mac's vocals on it too are fantastic. He sounds really good on that song.
Yeah, he does. I mean, the whole band sounds really good. The new wave of rock music has its challenges. We all know that it does. But as the band goes, as you go, I mean, there's always a step forward, right? There has to be steps forward with what you're doing. And obviously this album goes without saying, this is a huge step forward with the band, with the songs, the music, the writing, the production, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel, obviously you've been playing for a while and maybe everything you've done has been leading up to this. Do you feel that? Do you feel like this is its go time now for the band?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, especially with kind of the quality, the quality of everything, and if to me, what's most important is the reaction to people loving the songs live. Like people really seem to enjoy the songs live, and jamming. They're they don't know them yet, but we've been playing them live, for a while now, and people really seem to like them. They're like, when is this coming out? So I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah.
What was behind the decision to release "Gotta Let You Go" as the first single?
That was tough because it's like, I listened to the record. It was like that really weird spell when we had really nice weather at the end of February when we had the masters ready to go. So I go for walks like pretty much daily for like a week, and I just listened to the record all the way through, and I'm like, what the hell is going to be the first single? Because I'm like, I like them. Like they all kind of have their own little thing that I love, or like, somebody does something and I'm like, I really like how they did that. And I'm just like, what on earth are you going to do for the first single? Should we do Live It Up? And I'm like, that's the first song on the record. Like everybody's going to, be listening to that. So like, should it be Where There's Smoke, There's Fire? I'm like, I really like Better Not Touch. So I'm like, what on earth are we going to do? So I'm like, with Gotta Let You Go, I'm like, it kind of hits all the marks of what to expect from the record. I think it's got a kind of a really cool groove and riff. I think Mac's vocals sound really good. The chorus is really catchy, and the drums. I mean, it's a great performance by everybody. It's got a really hooky chorus in it, and one of my favorite guitar solos on the record too. So I'm like, I think it's a good starting point for what to expect from the record. So to me, that was kind of the main decision to put that one out first. Yeah.
When you think of AC/DC's discography and their albums, every single one of them is a party album, right?
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
Pete's Diary, Keep on Rockin' is a definite party album.
Yeah. It's the party album with the emotional closer.
Yes. Yes.
It's like the old Aerosmith records, right? Like Toys and Rocks are kind of the same kind of thing, right? So, I mean, it's kind of a party all the way through. Then you get the ballad at the end. When the songs were ready to go, Medals and Cigarettes is definitely the perfect way to close out the record because it's kind of, I don't want to say the odd man out, but, it's kind of like the only song that's kind of a departure in tempo and a vibe from everything else. So I'm like, that's kind of a cool way to close the record. And it fades out too. So it's kind of the cool, I'm like, it definitely fits as the cool kind of epic album closer kind of thing. So it definitely kind of loaned itself to that vibe.
I think we need a good time album though. right? I mean,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's what I'm all about.
yeah,
Playing live. All that. I love having a good time and a party.
we do need that. I mean, back in the day, I mean, that was what rock music was all about. I mean, there was always some angst and there was always some anti-establishment stuff going on, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
fine. That's cool. But when you think of the classic albums, whether it's anything by AC/DC or Van Halen or some of the stuff from Zeppelin too as well, and
yeah, yeah.
it's all good time. It's all good time music, and I think
Yep.
in the world we live in now, we need good time music. We need more feel good time. Tap your toe to it, and get out and hear something that makes you smile.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. Yeah, I'm like, I love, yeah, that's, to me, that's what I want to translate when we play live. Like, I want, when we play live to be a good time, raise your fist or beer in the air or whatever it might be. It's just have a good time, forget about everything else for, however long we're playing and just have fun, let loose, have a good time. So yeah, that's definitely the vibe that I always want to strive for. Yeah.
As we close and get ready to play the brief snippet of "Gotta Let You Go," what is your favorite song on the album?
um, man, it's kind of tough because they all like playing them live. They all kind of have their moments that I look forward to. That's a tough one. I really get a big kick out of the song "Better Not Touch." Yeah, I really love how the chorus came out on that song, and it's one of my favorite riffs to play too. Like playing it live as well, it's kind of got something. But then you gotta let you go. Yeah, I'm like, it's tough. What If I Don't is another one that I really dig a lot too. That one's pretty fun. Yeah.
You mentioned groovy during this conversation. "Better Not Touch" is groovy.
100%. Yeah. I almost picked that as the first single. But then I went with Gotta Let You Go instead. Yeah, it was a tough decision.
Well, Pete, it's been great talking to you about the new music, the new album. Once again, everybody, go pre-order this album. You got a few days before it comes out. It's out on April 5th, so it'll drop at midnight. So when you wake up from a nice, comfortable sleep the night before, you can hit play and listen to it. But go ahead and pre-order this. All Pete's Diary links will be in the show notes. You follow those links, you'll be able to go pre-order it.
Yeah, and everything else is, available at petesdiary.com for all of that stuff.
Well, Pete, it's been a blast, man. Thank you very much.
No, thanks for having me on. It's so exciting to finally talk about all this stuff.
I bet, man. It's, I mean, this is your labor of love. This is what you've been working on. This is like,
Yeah.
time to showcase it now.
Yeah, no, it's super exciting. This is like the first conversation I've really had about, the record. I guess the first interview I've done about the record and getting to kind of talk about it. So yeah, it's fun to finally get this thing rolling after, kind of talking about it for a while. It's exciting.
Well, I'm honored to be the first person to talk about it because, I'm a huge supporter of you and what you do. And I think big things are ahead. Absolutely.
Yeah, I hope so. And yeah, thank you for everything that you've done. It's always great being on the show. Always great talking to you. And hope to see you soon.
You will, man. Absolutely. Once again, everybody, that is Pete Dankelson of Pete's Diary. Like I said, check out all the links in the show notes. So when you're done listening, just click on those links. And now we play the song "Gotta Let You Go." It's going to take us out with about a minute preview of the song. Go ahead and enjoy it and pre-order it when you're done listening to it. Take care, everybody. Talk to you soon.